Alright guys, and welcome back to the Saints View, the channel for Southampton content for day number 23 of our Fanvent calendar. We're almost at the end of the series, and that also means we're almost at the end of the year, meaning that we're getting closer to the beginning of January transfer window, where clubs are open for business once again for a month. But what sort of business will Saints be doing? And that's what we're going to look at in this video. I'll be previewing our January transfer window, who's going to come in, is anyone going to leave, that sort of stuff. So I'll do the first section of the video based on who may come in, who I'd like to see come in personally, and then in the second part of the video, who may go out. But before we get into the video, do make sure you are subscribed, you've got notifications turned on, follow us on all of our socials, and also make sure you're entered in our giveaway. The winner will be announced tomorrow, so make sure you're entered so you don't miss out. We're giving away a kit. If you haven't realised already, you can check out our pinned tweet on Twitter, and I'm also going to be sharing around the post on Instagram a bit for the rest of the day, so make sure you're entered. But now, let's get into the video. So a bit of a rarity when it comes to the January transfer window. We're a week and a half away, but sort of a week and a half, 2 weeks before it opens, we're already being linked with players by pretty big sources. Sky Sports reported the other day that we're looking at Joachim Mailer of Genk, and also RB Salzburg centre-back Marin Pongracic. I don't think I've pronounced that correctly, but that's my best effort. Which is exciting, I guess. It's already names being linked, meaning that we are going to be active, or you'd like to think we're going to be active in this upcoming window, and I think we need to be if we are to stay out, because some of the players this season just haven't been good enough at all. Now, first things first, if I could choose any position for us to strengthen over the window, I would probably say right back. Cedric has been pretty woeful in my opinion. Valerie's sort of in and out and hasn't performed to the level that he reached last season, and so I think really we need a bit of competition there. Cedric's already said that he's going to leave, so we'll get onto him later on in the video and what I would do in terms of managing him. But yeah, bringing in a right back would be great. And Mailer has already actually been linked with us before. Last January we were looking at him, but Genk wanted to keep him because of their European commitments. He said in an interview after the window closed, you know, he was flattered by the interest and wanted to move to what he called a big club, as in Southampton, which, you know, is great. And if he's keen to come, then look, who knows if he's going to be the solution, but it's just another number, it's another name, and it just means we've got another option. As for the Salzburg defender, I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. A centre-back is also high up on the list. I mean, to be honest, it's just about addressing the defence in my opinion. I think the midfield and striking options can wait until the summer, but bringing in another centre-back would be good. But that's kind of what we've got Danzo in for, and he hasn't seen any sort of action over the last couple of months, which is, in my opinion, ridiculous anyway. The management of him has just not been good enough. We know how bad the defence has been this season, one of the worst in the top 5 European leagues so far, and based on goals conceded. We just need to stop leaking goals. You know, we haven't had a clean sheet since, I think, the Sheffield United win, which is just ridiculous, to be honest with you. But I'd also be looking at left back. You know, Bertrand is clearly the first choice by a mile, but he doesn't really seem to have much competition. We sold Matt Target in the summer thinking that Jake Vokins was going to play some sort of role in the first team. You know, we saw him play really well, I thought, in the pre-season friendlies, but he has made his debut, but it was like 2 minutes against Man City in the cup game when we were already losing. I mean, there was just no point bringing him on, to be honest. And we haven't seen him on the bench for any Premier League game yet, and I think we need to change that. Especially with these fixtures coming up when we've got lots of games in a couple of days. We saw it last year with Kane Ramsey coming up. We'd never heard of him, and he was started against Man City, which was just massive. Will we see the same for Vokins? Hopefully so, because at the moment I'm a bit worried about our left back options as well. It seems that Bertrand's the only sort of main shout, and there's no one competing with him at all. It's more about playing centre backs out of position at left back, or, you know, getting Gineppo, bring him down a bit. A wing back role that just isn't him at all, and it is concerning. But we also have Josh Sims coming back, which will feel like a new signing. He had his loan spell at New York, did pretty well, it sounded like anyway. Was decent under Ralphie last year, I thought, and so he'll be another good option to have. I believe he's eligible from New Year's Day, so we could see him in the Spurs game potentially, but he has been training for, I think, a good few weeks now, maybe even a month since he came back, so he'll be fit, ready to go. I'll be putting him in straight away as soon as he's eligible, because he'll feel like another signing, and you know what, we know what he can do if he's playing well. Right, on to outs then. It's pretty clear to me that we're going to have to sell to buy. I think we've known that since probably the summer. Is that sort of situation we're in at the moment financially, which isn't great, but it is what it is, so we've just got to accept that. The problem we have though is, who are we actually going to sell to leave ourselves with a squad good enough to stay in the Premier League? because at the moment there are plenty of players who could go, but we also have a couple of players whose contracts run out in this summer. Now, as of January or after January, they're able to negotiate moves away for the summer, so they'll play, run down their contract, and then they'll go to a new club as a free agent. I personally think we should be looking at the players whose contracts expire and decide whether we're going to give them a new contract, and if we're not, are they worth actually staying for the rest of the 6 months? Because for me, Shane Long, personally, I would be giving him a new contract. Yoshida potentially deserves a new contract. I'm not too sure on that. Maybe it's best to let him go and keep him for the 6 months and then see him off in the summer for free. But Cedric, we could get 5-10 million for him now and cash in instead of going for the free transfer option, because I'm not being funny, but he's not going to offer the quality we need for another 6 months, as opposed to getting 5-10 million pounds in that we can put towards a new right back, as in potentially Mailer, for example. Shay Adams has also been linked with a move out on loan. Personally, I think it'd be an absolute shambles if we move him on, even if it is for 6 months until the end of the season. Nottingham Forest seems to be keen, West Brom as well. Yeah, just I don't think we should be doing that. He hasn't really had the best opportunity. He had a handful of starts at the beginning of the season, didn't score, but to be honest, I could probably count the amount of good chances he had on one hand. You know, the fact that he was dropped, I personally thought was a bit unfair, but obviously Ings has been scoring, so you know, fair enough, he's been kept out of the team, but don't bring him on for 5 minutes, give him time. And I'd like to be seeing him starting a few of these games coming up, as we've got loads of games in a short space of time, and you know, rotation is essential. But I do think the likes of Callum Slattery, Will Smallbone, sort of academy players but who are nearing a first team opportunity, could do with the loan spell. Now, Will Smallbone's just come back from a long-term injury, so maybe it wouldn't be the best idea, who knows. But he definitely needs some sort of experience. And Callum Slattery, you know, making his debut last year, a couple of Premier League appearances here and there, a couple of cup appearances last year as well. He hasn't had a sniff of any sort of action in the first team this year. He's been playing for the under-23s, no sort of involvement on the bench, no starts. Put him out on loan, get him some experience. He can be a better player who has some sort of chance of coming into the first team, especially if we go down. You know, we could do with a player who's got League One Championship experience with a loan deal. And there are a couple of them, but I think Slattery's the main example for that. There aren't that many players I'd be selling at the moment. I think we need to keep as many players as we can, but loan out a couple of the academy players, who knows, maybe. But in terms of first teamers, those who are always involved in matchday squads, keep them here, unless your name's Cedric Suarez. But anyway, that is my preview for the January transfer window. Personally, I don't think we're going to do much business. I haven't got that much optimism for it. We didn't sign anyone last year, sold a couple players. I really don't think we're going to do much, but that's my opinion. Hopefully we do, and hopefully sign players that will keep us up. But thank you very much for watching the video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, leave it a like. Put in the comment section down below who you'd like to see come in, or sort of what position, and do you think we should be selling any of our players. Make sure you're following us on all our socials, and tune in tomorrow for our final day of the Fanvent calendar as we look ahead to our Boxing Day trip to Chelsea. See you then, guys.